Hey guys, we're back in the fish room today and I have to set up an angel breeding tank. So if you followed any of my stories recently, I have had a spawn of red devil angels. Now, I actually wasn't expecting this to happen. I think they're still a little young, but we've had a spawn, I've got a pair, so I need to separate them out from the tank because the tank that I've got them in at the moment is a little too small, so the territories are a little bit too cramped. So we're going to remove that pair of angels, pop them in their own breeding tank and see if we can get any more babies out of them. Now I've got this tank behind me. As you can see, it's already got some substrate in it. I'm actually going to remove that substrate because I don't plan on planting this tank out a lot. I like to put a little bit of things in there, some wood and some moss and things like that, just to green it up a little bit, make the fish feel a little bit more, at home, that sort of stuff. It's probably really just for me, let's be real. But I want to get them in there, get them out of that tank and see if the other two will pair up naturally. But these two chose each other, which is great. So it's a naturally occurring pair, not something that I have put together. I have found that naturally occurring pairs tend to stay together a little longer and you don't have as much aggression. I've had a pair that I put together in the past and they broke up and it was horrific. So I definitely recommend if you're purchasing angels to grow out so that you can get a breeding pair, get a few of them, minimum of 4, let 2 pair up and go from there basically, because they'll naturally choose each other and become boyfriend and girlfriend. So this is the tank that we're going to turn into our angel breeding tank. It's right next to my blue Paraiba pair, which have been spawning for me every 10 days or so, sometimes even less because they're insanely happy. That is something to keep in mind with angels as well, that they will spawn when they are happy. So if they're not spawning, it's usually because something's off, whether it be water parameters, space, territories, there's a whole range of things it could be. I'm hoping that these red devils will do the same for me once I get them all settled and happy. We are going to pull all of this substrate out and I'm just going to pop some black sand down because that's what I like putting my breeding pairs on, because the colors really pop out. They darken up quite a bit. We are also going to put a breeding cone in there for them to spawn on because I like to pull the eggs. I haven't had a pair of angels yet that will look after their babies. I think it has become a very rare occurrence in angel fish today. I do think that it's going to be a future project for us where I will get a pair together naturally occurring and see if I can get them to look after their eggs, because that would be awesome. And then all I have to do is when they get big enough, pull them out and just feed them. What a dream. These guys, I'll probably pull the eggs for the first few times. Something that I think's not really talked about very often is that angel pairs, when they're young, the fry that they produce are not going to be that strong until maybe the 5th or 6th spawn, because they're still they don't really get it. They're learning, Yeah, we always find that the 6th or 7th spawn is usually the strongest. So our first spawn of red devils, they'd never spawned before. I got them from little babies. I think we got 17 out of 200 eggs. The blue Paraibas spawned at a similar time, so I ended up popping the fry all together. And I'm not going to be surprised if I don't get any red devils in that lot. They might not have, they probably didn't survive, honestly. So let's get started. What we're going to do is we're going to pull all this substrate out and get a nice black gravel down. Alright, so I've added in a new substrate. I wanted to keep a little bit of the old substrate in there just because I wanted to keep a little bit of that beneficial bacteria going. Because I mixed up everything, it obviously went a little cloudy. So we've just left it overnight to settle and everything, and here it is, bare. And we're gonna go and pop in some extra bits and pieces and get this up and running as a breeding tank. First things first, I'm gonna pop in some driftwood with some plants attached, mostly just for growing out. There is some anubias there there and some Rickia moss. I've been floating in other tanks for a while now and they've been growing really well. So I just wanted to grow it attached to this driftwood, and I will harvest as things get bigger and grow and things like that and add to new tanks. Okay, so we're going to add in our breeding cone. This is for the angels to spawn on. Now I can't always guarantee that they're going to spawn on a breeding cone, but mine have so far, so I don't really give them much option in this tank. Finally, I'm just going to add in some floating plants, some water lettuce at the top here. I really do find that the water lettuce helps with keeping your water parameters stable, and I like the look of it, really. Alright, now that I've got all those things in there, I'm really happy with how it looks. I like to keep the breeding tanks pretty bare, although they are kind of useful for growing some extra items like the Anubias and of course the moss. Anything that's overgrown I can then take out and pop in another tank. Because we're breeding angels in this tank, it is important to have a heater in there. Now I like to keep my fish room at about 26 degrees, which pops the tanks at about 24. That's not hot enough, in my experience, for breeding angels. What I want to do is pop this heater in there at about 28. Let's pop this in there and get that tank heated up. So I left the tank for maybe 3 hours just to get the water heated up. I've gone ahead and caught out the angels from the group tank and they are just sitting acclimating in these jugs for now. They are still quite small angels, they're not massive. My blue paraibas are definitely a lot bigger, but they are also older. Having them in here will be great because I did see some fighting happening in the other tank. It seems to me, having a quick glance, I haven't actually looked, I've got 3 females and 1 male. So they were for fighting over the male who'd already chosen his mate. So, sorry ladies. So we're just gonna wait a little bit just to get these guys settled. They seem to have calmed down, so I'm gonna go ahead and release them. Alright, so that's how I set up my angel breeding tanks. I like to give them a nice big space to swim around in, a little bit of plant life and some decorations, and of course their breeding cone to spawn on. Hopefully we'll get some lovely spawns out of them and they'll be very happy in here. If you guys are interested in how I breed angels and how I raise them, definitely let me know. Put a comment down below and like and follow. Thumbs up on the video would be great, and I'll catch you on the next one.